glow. One drip at a time, take it nice and slow. In our daily drip show, let your style grow. Pouring into hearts with each heavy beat. Raindrops of rhythm make us all complete. Audience waving hands, feel the heat. Dripping in finesse, can't be. Colors of the night, mixing shades so deep. Every drop we spill makes the vibe steep. Cups overflowing as we take that leap. In the daily drip show, dreams we keep. Come get a cup, feel the magic flow. We pour into the audience, watch us glow. One drip at a time, take it nice and slow. In our daily drip show, let your style grow. Heavy beat, raindrops of rhythm make us all complete. Audience waving hands, feel the heat. Dripping in finesse, can't be beat. Falling on my head, knowledge floods you till you're fed. Drip show vibe you can't ignore. Tune in once you beg for more. Jim Jones here with the spill. Plain Dame showing you the real. Candy coated wisdom drip. Take a bite, don't let it slip. Daily drip, we got the flow. Pouring truth so you can grow. Subscribe and click, don't miss a beat. Out here making knowledge sweet. Heavy bass, the mind will shake. Raindrops make the surface break. Gems of truth in every line. Plain Dame, keep the pace on time. We out here changing your game. Wash away the coat of shame. Every drop of golden pearl. Join the ride that's on this world. Raindrops mixed with heavy beats. Subscription guide your hungry feet. Jim Jones's flow with Dame's appeal. Pour the knowledge till it's real. Raindrops fall on city pavement, washing secrets in the dark. Daily drip, the crowd's amazement. Knowledge streaming comes to spark. Thunder in the nighttime sky.
Get them ready. What up? What up?
Welcome to our daily drip show. I am the producer. Cash is back. I had to do that for dramatic effect. And I am here with what's your name?
Jim, it's me, Jim Jones. I'm
Thank
trying
you.
to, all right,
You're
I'm trying
fine.
to set up some. My bad, y'all. How y'all doing? We are giving y'all a back to back on the live stream. So it's just been a busy, busy day, but very happy that you are spending it with us, more specifically with me, because I am riding solo today. I'm definitely riding solo today. Well, sort of. Cash is pay you count, but you be producing. I don't know, if that counts as much as being like a co-host. However you feel about it.
I don't count. He was in the back like, my camera. And I was just like, just go ahead and go. You're fine. Let someone produce while you're
I appreciate
doing what
that.
you do. But in the meantime, check out our thin line between love and hate type of flow we got going on when we get into DDG and Hadley, not Haley, Berry. We also got some previous ones that we did when Cassie took the stand. Tory Lanez, get into that. Check out Lavender Marriages. And now back to the fearless host with the most.
Yeah, so we're getting to that Diddy trial. Just want to give y'all a recap of what happened last week as we go into this week. This week is going to be, well, last week was kind of a short week too, because they only went from Monday to Thursday. And then this week it'll be, I think, Tuesday to Friday, but who knows? Maybe New York moving, like maybe they just going to do Tuesday to Thursday. I wouldn't be too surprised. So we'll see. Before I get into all that, what's in y'all's cup? For me, I am drinking some sparkling water. This flavor is strawberry sunset. I love me some good sparkling water. Let me know in the comments what y'all drinking. It is not super late, so I'm not drinking alcohol. I'm not one of those brave individuals who do day drinking. I don't really normally day drink, but if you are, let me know what's in your cup. If you have a special concoction that you make, please drop the recipe, because we would love to know how to make it and what it is. All right. So, before I also get into that, let's go ahead. Sorry, I have allergies going on. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, comment. Make sure you share this. Make sure you tell 2 friends plus a family member about our daily drip show, because we are super excited about you being a part of the Odd Squad. So thank you for being here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into Diddy. So this is now going to be week 3 starting tomorrow. Week 2 ended with Cassie Ventura Fine, which is the artist Cassie. She is like, I want to say 8.5 months pregnant, like super incredibly pregnant when she was on the stand. I believe that is why she went first. So she, I believe, also testified the whole first week. Like they just went on ahead and just got her out the way, because she could give birth at any moment. So she talked about years of physical abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse, coercion, forced participation in sex, S acts. Sorry, I almost got in trouble for that. S acts. Allegedly being beaten on a private jet that ends up being confirmed by another witness during the week. And she was a part of the F-offs. under threat, allegedly, according to her testimony, more so. And so Cassie is very much a star witness because she is the person who came up with her own lawsuit beforehand. I think we kind of touched on this last week as well. So make sure you check out our Diddy trial video as well. But we talk more in depth about the things that we've seen at that point. Man, I'm trying to get over his allergies. Cassie, to me, the most important thing to take away from the second week of Cassie is she did some things that kind of helped and possibly hurt a little bit. She talked about the relationship, of course. She is the person who has the text messages. So I guess she kept all her old phones. So she actually has receipts for her stuff. One of the things that the defense was able to kind of latch onto is like, you actually care and still care about Diddy. She ends up admitting this. It's going to be interesting what the jury finds because you can tell that she cared about him. You could tell that she cared about her lifestyle. You could tell that as other witnesses, when we get into that, like she clearly did not feel she was able to like get away. Like, where you about to go? Where you gonna go? That brings us to our next witness, which is her mother, Regina Ventura. So Regina testified on Tuesday. Her main thing is obviously to come as a concerned mother, but there is an incident. We'll talk about Kid Cudi in a minute with Kid Cudi, but Cassie started dating Cudi, and which is Scott Muscudi. Shout out to Cleveland. She she started dating Scott Muscudi, and because of this, allegedly, according to Cassie's mother, Regina, Diddy found out he like, y'all owe me 20 bands because I'm over here putting into her and she over here messing with Cuddy. I didn't send her over there to talk to Cuddy and to link up with Cuddy in the studio for her to get with Cuddy. Like that's not what this is. So you owe me 20 bands. So her testimony is how they as in her, Cassie's father and her mother, which I don't know about y'all. I don't think I've ever met a father who just like is quiet. Her dad don't say nothing out of this. I don't know why her dad doesn't say anything at all about this. There's no like my dad was upset or my dad threatened XYZ or was up. Like I am actually really, really surprised that her dad is like not mentioned as like being incredibly upset or like making comments, but whatever. Her mom and dad take a HELOC on the house and wire the 20 bands to Diddy. After I think they said like 5 days, he sent it back. So he didn't keep the money, but at the end of the day, that is showing blackmail because the 20 bands is that allegedly he was going to drop the F off tapes of her on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And so she was upset. There's an email from Cassie detailing the threats about this. So, and then also when she came home, there's pictures of her that her mother took. So she also has pictures of like the bruises from her daughter. So that's why she was a witness. Now, I talked about the Punisher. Y'all can go check out the last video. Y'all can check out the short. Long story short, the Punisher was an exotic dancer known as the Punisher. And so he did ass acts with them. I detailed the first account where there was not any ass acts, but essentially, allegedly, Diddy sitting there with a hijab on, with nothing else on, touching himself while watching this man mess with his girlfriend, which to me, to be honest with you, is not like now that we're like unraveling the mummy, she really wasn't his girlfriend. Really wasn't his girlfriend. She was just his, you know, property there at that time, which is really, really sad because she spent a lot of time with him. But that's another conversation for another day. On Wednesday, George Kaplan testified. Now, this is the witness that, if I'm not mistaken, he was the personal assistant from 2013 to 2015 who testified about the private jet. And then he was tasked with cleaning up after the parties, doing stuff with drug activity, doing a lot of the operational aspects into it. Kaplan, though, is interesting. I believe he's the funny one that he got the job because he really wanted to work for Bad Boy. Like he really just wanted to do that, if I'm not mistaken. And uh he was interesting because like you got to remember in 2013 he would have been a lot younger, and same thing with the other assistant too. Like they don't look like they used to at the time. And remember, there's like drugs and parties and like all this relevant stuff, so it's like crazy to see like the pictures of them and pictures too. Like there's pictures that people snap from them going in and out of the courtroom, because remember there are no the public is not allowed to go into the courtroom. So remember, we are getting secondhand information for what is being reported on this. And so, anyways, George Kaplan is the first personal assistant to basically say, yeah, I mean, I was making sure he got the drugs. I was making sure that things were handled. I was making sure that his brand was good to go. And that's what I was privy to do. Very, 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 very interesting. The next other personal assistant is David James. So David James was the personal assistant from, oh no, that's the he's the original one. So Wednesday were both David James and George Kaplan. They're both personal assistants. David James is the one where there was Suge Knight was at some diner, and so they were gonna pull up on Suge Knight. And this is where Cassie was talking about, oh, I was so scared. They had guns. And the defense is kind of like, well, did you see them like actually like they had guns, but did anybody like shoot a gun? Did anybody load you know what I'm saying? Like what level of, oh, I just saw a gun. Okay, well, okay, good for you, essentially. And he just described being subjective to like threats himself, seeing others, violent episodes. He basically just supported retaliatory behavior that Cassie had said. If I'm not mistaken, I believe David James is the one who still works by like Beats by Dre. So he's very much like a brand person. And if I'm also not mistaken, he's the one who's still connected to Diddy, which is crazy. And he is the one who I think he got immunity. I think he wasn't gonna talk unless he got full immunity because he didn't want to have no smoke with none of that. Oh, somebody is at my house apparently. But he didn't want no smoke with Diddy at all. Um, so they're still friends. Going on to that, so he corroborated some of Cassie's story. The next is Richard. I don't know if it's Don Richards or Richard, but Dawn is from Danity Kane. She's also from Dirty Diddy Money. She is a former artist. She corroborates the story of Cassie being kicked, punched, dragged, all that good stuff. And the defense brings up like kind of like, wow, somebody is like really dinging my doorbell. But she brings up the whole like, hey, this really happened. Let me go ahead and check out who's at my door. I'm sorry, y'all. All right, y'all. So we back. Oh, we back. So Dawn corroborates the stories of Cassie having being abused, essentially. What the defense comes up with her is like, hey, don't you kind of have like a civil suit that's going on too that might be a little bit, you might be a little bit biased. She's like, yeah, I do. And they're like, well, you know, got to keep that in mind. So, do I think people are going to believe Dawn Bashar with based on what she's testified on? I mean, maybe she's also been in two groups with Diddy, which is interesting to me. I mean, I don't think that it takes away from her seeing uh well, not seeing, I think she said she heard that Cassie was being punched, kicked, and dragged by her hair. Um Also, she described that she was um locked in a room by Diddy after witnessing some of this stuff. And I don't think it takes away from that, but we also have to just keep in mind she does have her own thing going on. And I also think it's really strange that she decided to do a second group after Diddy came, because Aubrey O'Day was been talked about how she had beef with Diddy and XYZ, and she had the first one. So I don't know. Don Rashad makes me kind of look a little sideways too, because you went and did a second group. So then Dawn Hughes is another person that came up, and I think I'm missing Cassie's friend. I'm gonna talk about her in a second. But Dawn Hughes is the forensic psychologist. She explained trauma bonding. She does not know Cassie, did not um interview her or anything like that, but based on just her expertise, expertise, she was just educating the jury essentially of like what bonding is. Like, why would someone remain in a relationship like that? Why would someone do XYZ in a relationship that is not plentiful for them, and is harmful and hurtful to them? And so that was really her testimony. Now, on the flip side of that, remember, she is the psychologist who was behind Amber Heard in a Johnny Depp trial. And, you know, I mean, you could just take that from there. So that's not very good. And then one of the things the defense also put up about her is that she has basically um uh what do you call it? Like a whole presentation about victims, right? And one of the things that the defense asked was like, okay, well, like, you've never defended a man. And she's like, I only defend I don't defend offenders. So that wasn't very helpful because it's kind of showing bias towards men. So that's also not very helpful. And I focus is going out. So there's that with that. So the helpful and hurtful at the same time. I want to say Wednesday was also Cassie's friend. I can't remember her name, but Cassie's friend also testified. Cassie's ex-friend, her ex-friend testified from they knew each other before she actually became a bad boy artist. So they met by developing Polaroids when Cassie was like maybe like 16, 17 in the modeling days. She ends up still being friends with Cassie, even though Cassie becomes, aligned with Diddy. And she also went to some of the Diddy like parties, like if they went to like a island or they went to like a country or something like that, she sometimes would tag along. Allegedly, in one of these tag-alongs, Diddy hit her upset with a hanger, like a wooden hanger, and hurt her, like she had like a concussion or something like that. And so Cassie didn't like leave Diddy, didn't really back him up. They threw her like $30,000 at the time. And because she didn't really say much about it, her friend was no longer her friend anymore. But her friend did testify to abuse physically, emotionally, verbally. And her friend said that the whole wooden hanger throat thing was allegedly because she wanted her to corroborate that Cassie was talking to other guys. Before I get into this last, we have two more people, but before I get into the last two, it's very important about the whole like other guys thing, because if she they very much make like Kim Porter is like the queen, the mother of his children and so forth. Like, he loved her so much. And Cassie was kind of like this plaything, and it kind of would be off and on, but he was like really, really jealous. Because almost like property, like you can't, why are you talking to so and so? And I guess they're dating, but that's kind of weird because he over here contracting her out to other people, whatever, with the F offs. Then we get to Let's get to we're gonna skip that one. We're gonna go ahead and go to Mila Morales. That was Thursday. She was the makeup artist for Diddy and for Cassie. She was saying it was controlling a volatile environment. He had a volatile temperament. She provided insight into the environment surrounding Cassie during her relationship. She also said that she did see Cassie get battered in 2010 over the Grammy weekend and was trying to help her escape. So this is like a Cassie ally at this point. Probably helpful, mostly because she knew and worked on Diddy plus Cassie, and she's really the one like covering up the bruises. So, you know, that's powerful testimony. And then finally, before I completely wrap it up and talk about the end part of this, we have Kid Cudi. So Kid Cudi, Scott Muscudi, testified about 2011, where allegedly Diddy broke into his home after he learned about the relationship with Cassie. They linked up because Diddy wanted Cassie to do a song with Cudi. So after that, Cassie and Cudi ended up being like, "Oh, like this is super cool. I like you. You're cool. Whatever." But not immediately. It was like later on they ended up linking up. So weeks after he had figured out about the relationship, Cuddy's car was destroyed by a Molotov cocktail, um, which was an act that Cassie said that he basically had already threatened, like, "Oh, you're gonna talk to him? I'm about to go ahead and make a scene. I want his friends to be there." Based on Cuddy's Cuddy's testimony was funny, from what I could read. So Cuddy basically said he found out. It was like, "Hey, I want to have a conversation." Cuddy kind of like, "Ain't no conversation to be had. Like, y'all not together. So what am I talking to you for?" "Oh, okay. So you want to talk to me?" "No, not really." So allegedly, his Christmas presents were unwrapped. His dog was ruffled up, thrown in the bathroom. I don't know if his dog got hurt. The gifts were open. Nothing was taken. But the security cameras were all turned. So that was the first thing. The second thing is the whole car being blown up. Somebody cut top out of, I think he had like a convertible Porsche, cut top out, threw a Molotov and it boom, blew it up while he was gone. The dog babysitter was there. So he called like one of his friends, happened to tell him too, like, "Hey, your car is messed up." So all of this, all of this for a woman that he was contracting out, which is crazy. So Cuddy testified to get that out there, like, "Hey, after he did that, I called him. I really wanted to fight him." And, he just kind of like, that's just, oh, well, like, kind of like, oh, well. Now, this, I don't think, from what I understand, it's not hearsay because it's coming from Cuddy's mouth. If this was coming from Cassie's mouth or coming from someone else's mouth, it'd be hearsay. But this is coming from Cuddy. He's saying that Diddy basically pulled up and was like, "I'm at your house." And Cuddy's like, "Okay, well, I'm about to come to my house then. What's up?" This is incredibly volatile. I believe they eventually have a conversation. I think it's called like Soho House. It must be like some exclusive place only certain people can get into. And they have a conversation. But it's just, I don't know. I think this whole world is very strange. They're circulating the same girls. Um, Go look up Ryan Leslie. That's where Diddy got Cassie from. Like they're circulating the same girls. And then you want to be mad about the same girls you circulate. I mean, think about it. Like Diddy was allegedly messing with Lori Harvey, who was messing with his son, which he was friends with Steve Harvey. It's so weird. Like all that's very circular, cyclical. Keep that in mind as we continue down these weeks. I am very interested to see who comes up next. I believe Capricorn Clark is supposed to testify on Tuesday after the holiday. She is the one who let Cuddy know that Diddy was at his house for the when his car was going to be blown up, and she seemed real scared. So they're going to basically hammer in on that. I believe all day Tuesday is her. She was, I don't want to say she was an assistant. I think she's like a marketing person. She's worked for many, many brands. Go look her up. She worked for Diddy at one point and then stopped working for Diddy and then worked for Diddy again. So she knows, I'm thinking she knows quite a bit. So it should be interesting. All right, y'all. So that is the weekly recap. Thank y'all for coming in and listening to that with me. If you would like to hear more about the weekly recaps, I would love to get a little more animated with it and just really deep dive into them. Or maybe I can cut them up each day and just talk about that, because then we can get into the nuts and bolts of this. If you're interested in that, make sure you go to the community poll and let us know that you like that type of content. If not, then don't mark that and we can do less content like this. So really appreciate y'all. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment. Make sure that you hit that the share button too. Make sure you go to your family members. Let them know that you really like the show and you want to share it with them. So with that being said, really appreciate y'all time. Really appreciate y'all spending y'all time with me. And thanks for joining my live. And because it's so weird. I don't have Plain Dane with me. I don't have Cassius Pay with me right now. It's just very, very strange. It's very, very strange. Very, very different. But I appreciate y'all being here with me. Thanks, y'all. Make sure you check us out Fridays. We go live with Plain Dane, myself, as well as Cassius Pay. Normally, unless somebody's out. All right, y'all. Thanks so much. Talk to you later. Bye.
Fashion is loud, but our hearts keep it slow. Can't stop us now in this daily trip show. Clouds rolling like wisdom spread, soaking minds where dreams are fed. Every drop a lesson clear. Knowledge reigns, we're all ears. Daily trip we overflow.